My father, Herbert Neuwalder, came to the U.S. with the family in December of 1948, and his in coming here, he left behind a rather complicated life, which is that in December, in November of 1938 in Austria, there was the Kristallnacht, where Jews were arrested and Jewish property was destroyed, and this had followed the so-called Anschluss of Germany and Austria, and that's really when big problems for Jews began. So he was able to get out of being imprisoned in Vienna and got a visa and went to Italy in 1939. And there he wasn't able to work, but I think actually Italian Jews helped support the refugees there. And then he was imprisoned in a Italian concentration camp, actually the only one, I think. And it was in southern Italy, it was called Ferramonte. And it was not a death camp, but of course it was an incarceration. And the inmates, or the residents, whatever you want to call them, they were all almost entirely middle class, cultured Austrian and German Jews, and they organized life as best they could and did cultural things, plays, operas, chess, almost anything you can think of except for cards, which were prohibited because they would have induced hostility, we heard. And the Italians surrendered to the Allies in August of '43, and the camp was disbanded more or less, and my father worked as a dentist for the American Joint Distribution Committee, which was a Jewish organization, and also for the UNRWA, which was a UN agency for refugees. Then, after some discussion, he decided to come to the United States with us all, and because he'd been born in Germany as opposed to Austria, we were able to get a visa right away, came to the U.S., had a very difficult time receiving a medical license due to corruption in the New York State Board of Medical Examiners, and
the corruption, how did it manifest?
The corruption involved not allowing foreign graduates who were immigrants and did not speak and write perfect English to receive the medical license. But once the secretary went to jail, everything loosened up and he got his license. We originally lived on the Lower East Side. Initially, he was making, I think, about $125 a month, and we were paying $26 a month rent in our fifth floor walk-up, and he was working as a house physician, and he actually had been poorly advised because he should have gone to a teaching hospital, but he didn't. And then when I went to college, my expenses for per year on an annual basis were about $1,400, and he was at that point making about $175 a month, so there wasn't much left over, but fortunately with scholarships and things we managed. He came to America because he had some friends who had gone to America, and they said there were much better opportunities, particularly for the children. And so was 14. I was 15 and my sister was 13.